Hey guys, hey, it's Darren from Fantasy Points. Pretty excited to share a video with you guys today, which is the updated optimizer. This has been a work in progress throughout the whole entire preseason. Lots of Zoom meetings, lots of little quirks here and there that we've kind of had to work through, and it's finally here to share with you guys. This is a tool, and I mentioned it actually on a pod I did with Scott last week. This is something I wish was around when I first started making multiple entries. I wanted to make it as user friendly as possible, especially for people who were kind of intimidated by optimizers. So I'm going to go ahead and share it with you guys today. So basically, get into the fantasy points here, download in tools, DFS Optimizer. It's right here. Okay, so we'll go ahead and open this. And you have to hit launch. And here we go. So right away, you've got DraftKings and FanDuel. Yahoo's in beta right now. So we're going to typically use DraftKings. Basic stack, you can stack with a receiver to tight end. You can do up to 150 lineups. You basically just type in 150. We'll just do 20, you want to do 40. That's your pick. There's a basic stack if you like stacking your running back with defense. You have that option. We're not doing the showdown mode, and we're on the main slate. Here are the flex options. So you have the flex option. You can just do running back, receiver, tight end, all three. That's up to you. Now, the good thing is here, we'll get into this in a second, is we have John Hanson's projections, who is, just the man as far as projecting. And he's, we have the best, probably the best in the business. It just is. So that's something I've always relied on as far as his projections go. So having those and having an optimizer to get the lineup with the most fancy points, no pun intended, is the way to go. So what we'll do is we'll get to this advanced settings in just a second. What I want to do now is I want to show you up here, up to the right next to optimize. It says player settings. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to player settings. Now you can see all the different positions along the top here. We have the projected points. We have the salary. We have the value. Ownership is now updated in here. We have exposure min, and also exposure max. So first what I'll do is I'll click quarterbacks. And if you just were curious to see who the best value quarterback was for this particular slate is, you can sort it. So according to John's projections and based on DraftKings pricing, he has Trubisky as the best value. So if you wanted to use that as a lean, you could. And the projected points are here also. Now, let's say, well, he's such good value. I'm not the biggest Mitch Trubisky fan, but I guess I should have a little bit of him. You'll get 2%. So I put in number 2, and I want a little bit of him. I don't want that much, though. I might want, let's have a little bit of him. I'm not sure how much. He's probably safe. I'm not sure how much upside he has. I don't want any more than 8. So this right away shows you're going to get at least 2%, maximum of 8%. I love this part of the tool out here. Not many people have this in their optimizers. It makes it super easy for you. Okay, so I'll take that out. Another thing that you can do is we'll go back to projected points, and based on ownership, you can see here, for instance, Justin Herbert, as far as some of the higher priced guys out here, isn't as owned, as Mahomes and Hurts week 1. So you know what? You're like, oh man, that's a pretty good GPP play. So what you can do is over here, there's these bumps. You can bump them 1, 2, up to 3 times. So basically what that's going to do is every bump that you do is going to bump up this projection by 10%. And if you want to really make sure you get him, you can actually do your own projected points. So John has him at 21.9. And if you want to say to yourself, I definitely want Herbert. I think it's a great leverage play. I think this game's going to go crazy. Bump him up. Give him 24. You can bump him up too. Maybe a little overkill, but you want to make sure you get him. And you say to yourself, I want at least 5%. And I want no more than 20%. That's just an example of how that actually works. So I think that's pretty cool as far as that goes. Now, another thing is, if you're MMEing, and it is a little bit time consuming, what you can also do is you can go over here to the lock exclude tab over here. And let's say you don't like Kirk Cousins here. Exclude him. You do not have to have him in any of your runs. You don't like him, Aaron Rodgers, no Adams, no Lazard this week. You think they're going to struggle, maybe run a little bit more. He's still Aaron Rodgers, but just giving an example. Trevor Lawrence. You can make sure you don't get these guys. Now, if you have a feel on someone, you're like, I had a dream and this guy's just going to go crazy, lock him. That means every lineup you have, you're only going to have Jalen Hurts. So that's a really nice feature as far as that goes. But I really would emphasize using the minimum. I'm sure if you guys have played before, oh man, I knew I had a gut feeling about that guy. So if you put in here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5% or whatever you want to put in, you'll get that guy. You make sure you get him in your lineup. So that's something I really enjoy. Running back, same thing. You can put in your own custom points. You think Taylor's going to go crazy against Houston. You can add a little bit more custom points. You can bump up his projection, like we showed earlier, as far as that goes, okay? So what we'll do now is I'm going to show you the player settings. We're going to go back to the main page. Now what I'm going to show you here is the advanced settings. Now, first we're going to start with the custom stacks. We're going to hit modify. You can see here, you actually click stack 1. In stack 1, you give the exposure you want for this stack. So let's say you're running 40 lines, okay? And you want, out of the 40 lines, you want around 8 stacks of this particular stack that we're going to build. You do 20%. So 10% of 40 is 4, 20% is 8. You'll have 8 lineups with 20% of this stack, okay? I wouldn't get too crazy, too high on this. Because, it could, when you're running, you don't want to do, 65% stack, and then you've got another 20 and a 30. The optimizer may have a hard time, building that particular stack for you, okay? So for now, we'll do a 20% stack, and you can actually type in Hertz, or you can actually do the drop down to it. Now, what's cool about this, which is nice, when you type in Hertz here, it shows all your Philadelphia, it shows all your Philly players, okay? So what we'll do is we stacked him. We're going to stack him with, we can go right down to Philly. We know who we're going to stack him with. I'll just type in Brown, A.J. Brown. And we'll find A.J. There he is. Now they're playing the Lions, and we're going to bring him back to Swift. Now, since you're playing Hertz stack, you probably don't want to play the Lions defense. Probably don't want to play Miles Sanders either. He does catch some passes, but I don't think Miles has much upside playing in a lineup with Hertz. Hertz runs so much. That's a player I wouldn't, double stack. Johnny's actually mentioned that quite a bit. Be careful with your running quarterbacks, how much you don't want to really double stack on their side. Okay to bring some back. You could play Swift and Brown if if you wanted to. That was an option. You could also play Swift. If they're playing catch up, you figure they're going to throw the pass catching back and a Hawkinson. I kind of like that a lot, actually. So we'll go with that. We've got 20% on that one. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add another stack. Stack number 2. And we'll do 15%. And let's do Mahomes. We'll do the Patrick Mahomes. We'll do his favorite target and only target, really, this year. Kelsey, good luck figuring out who the other guys are going to be. And they're playing the Cardinals, and we can come back with Marquise Brown. And if you're playing Mahomes, you probably don't want to play Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So let's go ahead and get Clyde in there. There he is. You probably obviously don't want to play the Cardinals defense in that lineup also. Okay, so we've made a couple stacks. We're going to press OK. All right, so we've done that. Randomized projections, basically, I'll show you what it is. So let's say you've got a player project for 20 points and you want to bump him up 10%. That means one line he'll go 10% higher, the next line he'll go 10% lower. I'm probably not going to mess with that that often. If you're running 150, you might. I wouldn't get too crazy with it though. I trust John's projections so much. I don't usually mess with his projections on that part, but is it available for you? Okay. Now this is kind of cool. The max exposure by position. So customize by position. You can go in here and you can say to yourself, it depends on it depends on how many lines you're running though, right? Obviously the lower amount of lines, the more you're going to want to have a quarterback. So if you're running 150, you may not want to do more than 30, but you're running 40, you want to kind of maybe be around 45. These aren't set numbers, guys. These are I'm just trying to just talk it out a little bit. 20, 40 max, you might want to have maybe 60% for running back, the maximum 60 here, maybe 40 for a tight end, and then defenses 35, just for an instance. So what will happen is you won't get more than 45% of a quarterback. You won't get more than 60 wide receiver, 40 tight end, and defense. Okay. Okay. Ownership settings. So this is something that you can actually look here and do the max team ownership. So you'd have to do some back research based on GPPs, depending on the lineup. If you don't want your lineup to be completely too chalky, you can actually max this down. 75% ownership. You want to avoid, the guys who are 50% owned, you can. And then you can player limits here, limit high ownership players, 1, 2, 3. So that's kind of cool. Then there's the ownership here. Max player ownership here is 50. We're not going to use that for right now. And then max flex exposure here. So this is kind of cool. So in the flex position, let's say it's a week where there's just a ton of running back value. A couple running backs are out, there's backups. Like, man, I really like the flexibility of being able to spend down at running back this week. So I'm actually going to go really heavy on running back, and we'll go something like this. All right. So that adds up to 100. Okay, we'll do this. All right, so what we'll do is we'll go back up here. And we're going to run 40 lines. You go back and put in your quarterback with the receiver. And we're going to go ahead and, I'm sorry, one thing on the bottom here. This actually can allow you, based on the settings, to go low, medium, and high as far as diversity. The lower you go here, it's going to be a little bit more safer. When you bump it up here into the high, that can, be a little bit more GPP, a little bit more variant, so to speak, but, a lot of high upside. But, medium, like I said, once again, I trust John's projections so much. I'm not going to mess with this that much. I'm pretty going to kind of keep it here. So let's go ahead and run 40 lines and see what we come up with. Okay. Now what you'll see here is you'll get a note when generating lineups. Note that complicated setup or busy times can take 3 to 4 times as long as the estimated time shown above. Excuse me. So running 40 lines, we put in some rules and settings, and obviously the more lines, the more different rules and settings that you put in there. that can affect it. Okay. Sometimes it will go around twice. Just kind of let it do its thing, and it will eventually just pop up. Okay. So we'll wait here a second. It's almost done. Let's see if we can get it done on the first time. And we did. And so what you'll see here is you'll see team 1 all the way over to team 40. Now, we'll be getting the ownership in these players. It shows the projections right now. But let's kind of go through some of these lines here. Well, there's Hurts, there's Brown, there's Hawkinson and Swift. Look, there's one of the stacks. Remember? We made the stacks here. Hurts, Swift, Brown, and Hawkinson. All right. There's Mahomes, Sky Moore, Kelsey, and Marquise Brown. So we asked for Mahomes stacks, right, with Kelsey. It just so happened we got Sky Moore in that lineup also, and Marquise Brown as a comeback. You can kind of look through these different lines. You know, Hurts, Swift, Brown, Hawk. So it's doing what it tells you, what you're telling it to do. So we'll go back, and you can see everything kind of stay here. Now, one thing that we have to do right now, when you use this, you have to keep this page open. At this time, it's not saving the work that you've done. So you need to keep your tab open. They're working on that to where it can be saved. So just be aware of that. So if you're building, let's say Friday or Saturday, you need to keep this tab open. Don't close the tab. Tell the wife, kids, brother, sister, dog, cat, squirrel, bird, don't close this, because you're going to have to go back and kind of redo it all. But that's like the basic, the setup for it. And like I said, super easy, straightforward, nothing complicated. And it's kind of cool like that. And there's the all teams here. And then what you can do is, I'll show you real quick. This is how you download the teams. Download is over here. And then obviously we'll pick up the CSV, and it took it to one of my other screens. And there's a screen, and then you copy and paste. You download the file from DraftKings, and then you just upload it. So yeah, so like I said before, very excited. I'll be doing a lot of videos, for the games. Kind of go through it more. I'm learning it a little bit more. We're adding to it. We're definitely not done with some of the advanced settings. Definitely want some more, but like I said before, super excited for this, super user friendly, and I hope you guys really enjoy using it. Okay. All right. Once again, I'm Darren. On Twitter, you can find me at BooBooJojo, BOOJOJO, and in the Discord chat for Fantasy Points. You can find me in the DFS chat quite often. We do have a discount code for this year. You can use my name, DARREN in capitals, 22, to get a discount to the site. Best site in the world, and I am happy to be working for these guys. I've told a few people I have joined the Beatles. I'm just super excited. All right, everybody. Well, like I said, looking forward to this season, and good luck.